welcome everyone. In this video I'm gonna discuss in depth with you guys how I finally found my style on how to make my thumbnails and whatnot. When I started doing gaming streams, I always struggled with deciding how I should make my thumbnails. I never had issues when it comes to making thumbnails for my art videos, but when it comes to gaming streams or gaming related videos, I always struggled with making thumbnail, like how I should make them and whatnot. And I know maybe you are wondering, well, yeah, like you are an artist, you are supposed to know how to make gaming for thumbnails. Yeah, like honestly, me personally, I have been wondering the same way. And then finally, back in around, I think it was about last year when I was streaming Gex 2, not only Gex 2, also Left 4 Dead, I finally found my style of making thumbnails. I will now briefly discuss how I found it and where I get my ideas and whatnot. As you can see in this photo, this is one of the examples that I did. The same thing with the Duke Nukem thumbnail on the previous clip. So this is, for some reasons, this is what came to my mind when I was creating my thumbnails. Because I remember back then, whenever I make thumbnails for my gaming stream, all I do, I just go to Google, download the wallpaper from the video game that I am playing, add plain text, and then that's about it. Or I will take a screenshot from the game, add some effects and filters and whatnot, and then add the title of it. Until around last year when I was making the Gex 2 thumbnail for my stream. And then when I was creating the thumbnail for Gex 2 stream, an idea came to my mind. I thought to myself, you know what? I think from my gaming streams, I will just do a thumbnail with 3D text. And then when I choose the background effects and the texture, I'm gonna choose something, depends on what type of game I am playing. And this is where I finally found how I'm gonna make my gaming thumbnails for my gaming streams. Like, I'm so happy that I finally found a way to make my thumbnails and whatnot. And as I mentioned previously, I always struggled with making thumbnails for my gaming streams. But I'm so happy that I finally found a way how to make my own. I always wanted to do something different than most people. This is not, no, don't get me wrong. If you how do I say it? Like, every time I went to YouTube and I type ideas for thumbnails for gaming streams, most of these thumbnails are honestly way too generic in my opinion. Now, again, don't get me wrong, I'm not making fun of anyone who likes these types of thumbnails. If you like it, that's fine, but to me, it was way too generic for my taste. So I want to do something really, like, a bit different. And like I said, I like to choose something, depends on the game that I am playing. Now I'm gonna show you one by one each thumbnail that I created so far and explain the details, the ideas, and the inspiration. This is the thumbnail that I made when I played Medieval 2 and Left 4 Dead 2. As for the medieval, I decided to go for quote-unquote medieval themed 3D text by choosing a medieval font. And and as for the effect, I decided to do like a shiny gold text. And for the Left 4 Dead, I decided to go for more like gooey green slime type of theme since it is a zombie game. And as you can see, I went for mostly green shades and black and whatnot. And for the Left 4 Dead 2 font, I was looking for horror themed font that has a dripping effect. I know it's supposed to be for blood, but I decided to use it for like dripping green liquid or acid. It looks really great. This is the one for Gex 2 stream, and since it was like a lizard themed game, I decided to to choose a wooden background, and lizard skin lizard scales texture for the text. I was so happy with how this one came out. For the Cold Fear stream, since it is a horror game, I chose a darker background, and as for the text, I chose a horror themed text, but instead of blood, I added a rustic metal texture for the text. For the Resident Evil 3 Nemesis stream, I decided to do another zombie themed texture for the text. This is the same texture that I used from Left 4 Dead. It's like a collection of texture, but I used a different one for Resident Evil 3. But for the name Nemesis, I decided to use congealed blood texture with a dripping effect. I wanted the name Nemesis to pop out, similar to the one in the poster for the actual game. And this is the thumbnail for a horror game that I streamed around this year. I chose another type of horror font, and then I decided to add like a ghostly type of effect for the text by using motion blur in Photoshop. For the Twisted Metal thumbnail, since I was playing the first Twisted Metal game, I decided to add a retro type of filter and effects for this thumbnail. And I also used like neon green and black borders. And for the text, I used the metal texture with neon green color accent on the text. And finally, the Duke Nukem stream thumbnail that I did for my latest stream like a few days ago. This one for the background, I actually this time instead of plain colored brick wall, I decided to add some colors to it. And as for the text, I added the metal texture again, but then I added color accent, the neon green and neon and yellowish green color to make it really pop. And since it's a Duke Nukem game, I also added the nuclear icon on top of it. Before I end the video, I will show you the websites where I get the fonts from and the photos and textures as well. This is where I get the fonts, not only for my thumbnails, but also for my art videos when I do 3D text artworks and when I do art commissions for other people. This is just an example. As you can see, I am at the horror section. So many types of fonts. If you want horror, curly, if you want fantasy themed, medieval, gothic themed, or retro themed, any types of fonts. As you can see here, so many types of fonts, and they are free to use for personal use. But if you are gonna use them for commercial uses, you have to check to contact the authors of these fonts, or click on the link, so you can, like, I think, donate or pay a specific amount of money to use it for commercial use. But if you are gonna use it for personal use, like thumbnails or just artworks, it's 100% free. And for the photos, textures, this is where I get them from, pixabay.com. Like I said, I will link these websites in the description box if you want to use them. This website has not only free stock images, but also illustrations, clip art, some PNG photos, sound effects, videos and music, and GIFs as well. I created accounts so I can save photos that I would like to edit in the future. And this is my collections. Their collections is basically like favorites. For instance, this one, textures. These are the textures that I typically use for my thumbnails. As you can see, they have so many, there are so many types of these. Alright, that's about it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. This video was really random because I thought, why not just share with my subscribers on how I make my thumbnails, where I take my inspirations from and whatnot. So, and also I want to mention another thing. If you want ideas, inspiration, or advice for your thumbnails, don't hesitate to contact me on my social media. I will happily help you with it. Much love, guys, and I will see you all later. I wish you all a lovely week.